All right, guys, I got a vinyl update for you guys here, just like I kind of been talking about. So after this, I actually will have at least 2 more CD updates, and then we're doing the collection. So I guess better late than never. But I got a stack of maybe 7 records to show you guys here, so let's get on into it. In the background, we're listening to Complete and Total Hell by Midnight. Absolutely loads of fun. It's a Midnight demo EP compilation. Different 7 inches and stuff like that. It's just it's good stuff, man. Spans a lot of fun. And we are drinking PRL Chimney beer. I don't particularly know how to pronounce that word. It's Polish beer, as you might expect. I always love these tops too. I think they're a lot of fun. I save these bottles too and reuse them in home brewing. Very excited to try this one. I've actually been saving this beer specifically for the video. It's been sitting in the drawer of my fridge for, I don't know, a couple weeks now. Na zdrowie. Man, that is malty. Polish beer is always so malty, which is maybe what I like so much about it, but top stuff. All right, so let's get on into it. There are some first presses of thrash albums, classic thrashers, some old school heavy metal, some death doom, some black metal. We got a good stack here. First one I'm going to start off with is one of those first presses. This is Shark Attacked by Wehrmacht. I always thought this was a German band until literally right before this video, which is my own ignorance, but they're based out of Portland, Oregon. Let's get this jacket out and show you. So here's the front cover you've been looking at this whole time. Love that album cover, man. This album is so much fun. Check out them short shorts on this dude. Killing it. Absolutely great. Bunch of band photos there. So the insert for this one was actually missing from the store of which I bought it from, which I find particularly obnoxious. But I guess it happens sometimes. Let's check out the LP. Since there's no insert, they put it in this white sleeve. Black vinyl, nothing particularly cool. I do think that the simplicity of these records are part of the charm. So this is some thrashy crossover stuff. Obviously, there's some more punk-leaning crossover, but this is definitely more on the thrash side and the more angry side. Specifically, I really thought this band was German, besides the name sounding German. I thought it sounded like a Teutonic band. So they really have that really feral, kind of foaming at the mouth, really angry thrash sensibility to them. I should have known from the back that none of these guys had foreign sounding names, but whatever, it's not a big deal. So this album, dude, check this out if you guys have not, but listen to some of the riffs on some of the songs. I think it was on like Jabberjaw, or some tracks like closer to the middle and the end of the record. Listen to how they're playing some of the riffs. They're playing some power chord riffs that are just super black metal sounding. They're like tremolo picked high octave riffs. Go back to this one and listen to it. It really does sound like some first wave black metal, some early kind of stylings of that. So Wehrmacht. Next, Hooded Menace, Darkness Drips Forth. I got this one for Christmas from a buddy of mine. Let's get this bad boy out. You guys all know Hooded Menace. Nice little matte finish on the sleeve here. I think this is actually a really cool album cover. At first I thought it was really stupid. Out on Relapse Records. I think this is the press from 2015. Yeah, it is. This is great, dude. Really good. Let's show the insert here, if I can get it out. Have you ever been outsmarted by inanimate objects? Because I do it just about every single day. There's the band, Lassie, and the boys. If you guys aren't familiar with Hooded Menace, it's very good death doom in the Finnish style, of which you would expect. Lassie did the vocals on the debut Acid Witch album, Satanic Hallucinations. So if you like those vocals, check this out. And it is on this wonderful green swirl LP. What do they call it specifically, this variant? Swamp green, olive green merge. I guess it's more of the swamp green than it is olive green, because I figure this has got to be the olive and this is the swamp. I grew up in a swamp and I've never seen this color present, maybe in duckweed to an extent, but this is a little more creamy. But anyway, that's besides the point. This is an art class. This whole album is really, really good. The early stuff has kind of that Razorback, Hell's Headbangers sound to it to an extent. You know what I'm talking about? There's definitely a sound to that era, the early 2000s kind of production style and things like that. But this album, it's really, really doomy, but I feel like it's less straightforward than the first couple of albums were. The tail end of this record specifically is pretty melodic, and the sensibilities for such a thing are done really, really well. And I think this record in its entirety is very replayable. I'm a big fan of Effigies of Evil, which I guess generally the consensus is that is particularly the worst Hood and Menace album, which is beyond me. But you could definitely hear how this was kind of transitioning into the more heavy metal influence of which they have exposed in the past couple of records, like the Triumvirate Bell, and the one right before that, right after this one. The tail end of this album, specifically, what's the name of the song? Oh yeah, Beyond Deserted Flesh, the last track. The ending is really, really good. It sounds kind of like a little bit more like old school Finnish death metal, which is something I really do appreciate, as you might imagine. Hood and Menace is very, very good. Next, another one of them wonderful first presses I was talking about. This is the American first press, if I remember right. Combat Noise press of Riders of Doom by Death Row. Absolutely great. Great thrash metal, dude. You got to have this. So yeah, it's the first American press because it is out on Combat Records. I love the look of Combat LPs. Camouflage with the red Combat logo. Licensed by Noise. I have a couple of Combat pressings and stuff. I have the first press of Don't Break the Oath over there, and it's a Combat pressing. I've seen a bunch. My local shop has a ton of this kind of stuff right now. The owner's selling off part of his personal collection. Here's the back here. Check out them boys. This is an absolutely top tier German thrash metal album. From 1986. This was also released in Europe as Satan's Gift. But I think this name is cooler. It fits better with the album cover, I would say. The Satan's Gift is kind of a stupid name for an album anyway, but it doesn't really matter. But this is really, really, really one of a kind for the scene. There are hints of other German style other German bands in their style. I feel like I get some little whiffs of Destruction here and there. That faint scent of hammer-on riffs and the kind of speed metal, higher octave register. But a lot of this is really, really technical, comparatively speaking. I could definitely see this having an influence on bands like Vector and maybe Ex Mortis and bands like that in the modern age who've kind of taken that tech thrash thing and really ran with it. I could definitely see this being a huge influence on that. Maybe closer to your Hell Witch and bands of that ilk. But this in particular album is really, really good with the production value. It's pretty standard mid-range yelled thrash vocals, but I kind of really like that, and I feel like if there was too much of a crazy vocalist, it would distract from how impressive the music really is. I don't know, sometimes I really, really get down with bands with really good riffs and mediocre vocals, and I think that this is a band who has some good vocals, but they're not special, not like Schmear and Destruction has, or like Chuck Billy and Testament has a really good voice. This band more focal point on the music side of things, which I'm okay with that. That's what I'm here for. I lost my sleeve. Oh, you guys don't get to watch me re-sleeve on camera. What is that? Haha, never mind, I found it. This is punishment. I don't know what for. I don't think y'all misbehaved, at least that I know of. But I do it anyway. I'm not going to sit here after the video and do it, so whatever. But yeah, dude, Death Row is a great band. I'm going to eventually go pick up some more of these, just because, there's something about the first press thing that it really speaks to my inner collector scum dweeb. So Death Row, absolutely great. All right, a little bit more my speed of what you guys usually hear me talk about, even though I listen to tons of stuff like that. This is Premonitions by Sojourner. Absolutely love this record. Or this band, their first record, I should say, I absolutely love. I'll talk a little bit more about this one. I bought this one off of Canyon Bickle, selling some stuff. He hooked me up pretty good. Appreciate you, buddy. Really, really good looking stuff. I always thought this was a really cool album cover. I would love to get a t-shirt of that. Here is the inside. Looks very, very, very good. But you know, this is a weird record. The first album, I feel like, is more along the lines of your Summoning and things like that. Maybe a little bit more atmospheric black metal than Summoning. But this album has female vocals plastered all over it, which was a thing in the beginning as well. But this one, I feel like it really took over the majority of the vocals in the album. And it's epic and it's really cool. But this band, it sounds more like Leaves' Eyes than it does Drook, if you get my drift here. And I like this style. So imagine mixing your early Nightwish and stuff like that with your atmospheric kind of keyboardy black metal. And that's kind of what Sojourner sounds like on this particular album. It's a very interesting thing. This is out of Napalm Records, by the way. And this is a black vinyl variant, if I remember right. Strictly limited, but I don't remember how many copies. Both LPs look the same. There's nothing particularly impressive. But I'm not really certain if I want them to continue in this style quite yet, which obviously in my opinion doesn't matter to these people. Do whatever you want. It's your band. But it's different. It's really different. And I guess if a band just keeps re-releasing the same album over and over, it can be a little boring. It can get a little old, you know. Sometimes they'll fall victim to the Motorhead syndrome or something like that. A lot of the albums sound pretty samey, even though there's variations in songs. They have like 5 or 10 different styles of songs that they put on every record. And, you know, this album really has changed the band quite a bit. I appreciate that about them. And I will be checking in for their next record. This one's from 2020, so it'll be maybe another year or two, I assume, until we wind up getting another Sojourner record. But yeah, check this out if you guys like your Nightwish and your black metal and want to mix it together. Next, an album I specifically bought off of watching Heavy Metallurgy. This is Detroit's heavy metal horror show, Halloween, with Don't Meddle with Evil. I believe it was Alan talking about this absolute 1985 gem. And this is a reissue that I found. This is not the original press. I got this at my other record store that I go to, but it is gorgeous looking on this wonderful white vinyl. White is one of my favorite colors of vinyl, and it's just absolutely great. Looks really cool with the big orange label smack dab in the middle. It's great. This is limited to 300 copies as well. So let's check this out. The original logo right there, and then the plussed up logo. Basically keeping the same idea, just redoing it enough to make it really pop and look good. Great band photo. Absolutely great. This old boy's definitely listening to his Alice Cooper. I wonder if he knows Hellhammer and Celtic Frost. But I'm sure something like that was an influence on them because, you know, Tom G had the eye makeup and all that crap. But this is great. This is out on Pure Steel Records from Motor City Metal. Obviously, a Detroit-based set of musicians. Let's see if there's anything in here I forgot. Yeah, there is. Let's show you that, too. But this is a great old-school, angry heavy metal album. Little bits of speed. It kind of has atmospherically the same style as Hollow's Eve, but Hollow's Eve is a lot more speed metal, a lot faster. This band really rides that heavy metal train, that, you know, anthemic, fist pumping, denim and leather kind of heavy metal. And I really get down with that style over the past year or two. I've always liked old school traditional metal, obviously, but it's really been something that's been brought to the forefront in my listening, partially because of listening to every Heavy Metallurgy episode in a row, which is kind of the marathon I've been running. But you know, it's exposed me to so much music I really, really love, and I appreciate those dudes beyond recognition, seriously. So go check out Halloween if you have not already done so. And seriously, trust the opinion of guys who have spent 30 years scrounging record store bins and stuff like that, searching for the best and most obscure that this ridiculous genre of music that we all love has to offer. You know, I appreciate the crap out of the guys who put in the work before the internet age. I really, really do. That's definitely a lost art form, and I try to crate dig as much as possible just because it's 80% of the fun. You know, Halloween, great record. Then 2 albums from one of my favorite bands. I should say 1 EP and 1 record. The first thing we got here is The Crescendo of Dusk by Panopticon. I just literally am trying to fill in every record Panopticon ever put out. But this is an EP that came out in 2019, I want to say. Good beer. Gotta love it. Really, really cool photo on the back here. Just 2 long tracks on this LP. The Crescendo Dusk is beautiful, kind of acoustic song. The Labyrinth is a really, really good black metal song. The Crescendo Dusk as well also has, I believe, some black metal if I remember right. But, you know, Becca doing great artwork like usual. Really, really pretty green cover. Right there you can see the etching, single-sided 12-inch LP, and this absolutely gorgeous green LP with this brilliant sticker on the inside. Absolutely love everything about Panopticon. This album is some stuff. Oh, here it says on the back, The Crescendo of Dusk was written and recorded during the Scars of Man sessions. The Labyrinth was written and recorded during the Autumn Eternal sessions, which makes absolutely perfect sense in my book, because that's kind of the styles of which they firmly plant themselves. So if you like your later Panopticon, which is my favorite era of Panopticon, Kentucky Forward, as I believe it to be the majority of people's favorite era of this brilliant band, go check out The Crescendo of Dusk. Don't sweat the fact that it's an EP. I kind of like the single-sided LP ordeal. Great. And then the third record, Social Disservices. I picked both of these up from Melanie Loves Death Metal off of her Born Dead Collection web store. Pretty iconic at this point cover, I want to say. Absolutely great. I don't really get what this back one is. It's obviously some dude's blood, or some blood over some hand and stuff like that. This is what a Panopticon inner sleeve always looks like to me. Very much so. A little bit more of an expansive look into Austin's brain, which we don't particularly get a lot of the time. He tends to keep his stuff very personal. I've heard him say on Heavy Metallurgy that his lyrics are very exposing, so he keeps them to himself, which I'm indifferent to. If you want to do that. That's your prerogative, buddy. I will be here nonetheless. And one of the sickest LPs in my collection. Clear and white are my 2 favorite colors of LP, and good golly, if that's not gorgeous, I don't know what to tell you. You should probably get your eyes checked. Look at that swirl. Absolutely top tier LP here. The record itself, the music is pretty good. I like this album. It's just not something I visit as often as some of the later Panopticon stuff. That's just a personal preference thing. You know, if you like your punky kind of hardcore influenced, maybe really good melodic-y black metal, definitely check this one out if you guys have not. So I'm gonna call it a day on that one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm excited to finally not be buying so much stuff and spending more time with the collection. So I'll catch y'all in the next one. Keep it greasy.